Hey guys, welcome to my project journal. This one we're going to be talking about my Estalian Conquistador themed army. Now this army I'm going to be making for a Call to Arms event that we're doing at Black Knight Games, where basically it's an army building league and a whole bunch of people start some sort of an army project and have a deadline for it. So for this one I decided to go with an Empire army for Warhammer. However, it's not really an Empire army, it's actually an Estalian army. If you've never heard of Estalia, it's actually a different country in the Warhammer world, more of a Spanish-themed nation, and it's not really very prominent in the storyline or anything like that, but it's there nonetheless. And since there's no army rules for it, I will be using the Empire army rules. While most people will be making brand new armies for Call to Arms, I'm actually revisiting an army. So this Estalian Conquistador themed army is one that I did about 6 years ago, and it's probably my favorite army that I've ever done for Warhammer. And I decided to revisit it because with 8th edition, the way the army was built wasn't really very good for the new edition. It didn't use the horde rules at all. A lot of things like my my shooty units were all 10 wide by 1 deep. It's just not the kind of build you would do for 8th edition. So I wanted to go back and rebase a lot of the models and new movement trays and things like that. And I thought that was a good opportunity with Call to Arms, and then also to add some points, because with 8th edition, games can go to larger point values than they used to. 3,000 isn't unheard of at all anymore. So I wanted to build my 2,000 point Conquistador army up to a 3,000 point size army instead. My plan for the expansion is to, first of all, take a lot of the units that I already have and reconfigure them for 8th edition. So right now I've got 2 units of 24 pikemen. I'm going to merge those into 1 unit of 50. And that's just going to be a lot better. We're going to be 10 wide by 5 deep. That's a nice big horde unit. Then I'm going to take my shooty units that are 10 models. There's 2 handgunners, 2 crossmen, and I'm going to change them from a 10 wide by 1 deep to 5 wide by 2 deep, and that just makes a lot more sense now that things can fight in 2 ranks. I'm also going to add to the Pistoliers. Right now they are 2 units of 6. They're going to become 2 units of 10, which I think is just going to be more effective in 8th edition. And I'm also going to add a couple pieces of artillery. I've already got 2 cannons, so we're going to add 2 mortars, because mortars are very, very good in the new edition. And I still feel that mortars, sort of fit the Conquistador theme as well. Now I'm going to add an entire unit of infantry. We're going to add 30 halberdiers to the army. Rather than using the same Dogs of War models, the Perazzo's Lost Legion or the Marksmen of Miragliano that I used previously for the Halberdiers, I'm going to use some models from a company called GameZone. Now GameZone makes a lot of models sort of like Warhammer clones, basically. They make a lot of models for Warhammer style armies. They have an Empire army, and the Empire stuff that they have looks a lot like Spanish conquistadors, so they fit really, really well. And Halberdiers I thought was a great option there, because the Spaniards definitely used a lot of halberdiers, so it really fits the theme. And in that halberdier unit I'm going to put the warrior priest that I already have, and in replacing his spot in the pikeman unit, we're going to add a battle center bearer, because battle centers are really, really pivotal in 8th edition. Now that's all the actual Estalians that I'm going to be adding. However, there are some more units I'm going to add. I've decided to add an Amazonian contingent that are basically going to be the natives that the conquistadors encounter when they arrive in Lustria, and they sort of ally with the Amazons and they become their guides while they explore the Lustrian jungle and encounter lizardmen and Skaven and things like that. So I'm going to be adding 30 Amazon swordswomen. And I'll be using the Amazons from Mordheim for this. That unit will have a chieftain and priestess in it, and I'll also be adding 2 units of Amazon archers, which is going to be great because Amazons are, more jungle type troops, and the archers are skirmishers, so that works really, really well. So there you have it. That's basically what I'm going to be adding. This does add up to about 3,000 points, so on its own this is an entirely legal 3,000 point army. However, I'm also going to be adding something else to this army for the Call to Arms challenge, and this is something that I won't use all the time because it's not entirely legal, and that is a Forge World landship. Now this caught my eye right away, and originally when I saw it I thought to myself, this is a really cool model, but who's actually ever going to use one of these? It doesn't really fit most armies, themes, and I realized I had this Conquistador army that it fit perfectly. So my guys roaming around across the sea and stuff like that, the landship is, a piece that I think can add a lot of flavor and fun to the army, but I obviously won't use it all the time because its rules are experimental. I could, of course, use it like maybe as a steam tank, that kind of thing. So how is this project actually going to turn out, do I think? That's a good question. One of the reasons why the Conquistador army that I built the first time is one of my favorites is that I took a lot of time on it. All of the models were, spent a lot of hours on each one, and it ends up looking really good as a result. So do I have the time and patience to stick with it this time and add another 1,000 points? Well, that's a good question. I hope I do. I've got 2 months for the Call to Arms to try and finish it. Will I finish Call to Arms? I'm guessing probably I won't. It's a good goal, but I'm not really sure that realistically I'll be able to get it entirely done by then, but hopefully I'll get myself a good way there, and that'll be it. So thanks a lot for watching. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and all that good stuff, and of course check out blacknetgames.ca, and we'll talk to you next time. Cheers.